Long ago, two robot brothers entered the plane of magic and drew from the well. Both chose their powers, but only one survived. Airmed, the survivor, he chose powers of purity. Using his powers for superheroics, Airmed serves as a bridge between our world and the fantastical worlds, keeping one from harming the other. Arcane, the banished, bitter and spiteful. Arcane chose anger and was immediately destroyed within the plane of magic. He lives on as a ghost secretly within Airmed's body. The dragon woman's long sword pointed at Airmed's neck as he mopped the floor. Its blade was so bright it was nearly blinding. She was tall with black scales, wearing a brown cloth garment, had a long tail, a noticeable lack of wings, and a distinctive human face. "How were you able to touch that?" she asked with an added dragon hiss. Airmed gently pushed back the blade as he dipped the mop into the bucket of water and placed it on the gold coins standing on his feet. Police Captain Surhoff stood in confusion as professional bank robber Carl stuffed gold in his pockets. "The gold? Sorry, they were..." Airmed then spoke with disdain. "Filthy." "It's cursed," she said. Carl immediately dropped his gold coins, thought about it for a moment, and picked them right back up. He considered all money cursed in some way. "Oh, I used a cleaning spell. One of the few I've created, really," Airmed said. She then pointed her sword at Carl. "So you've come to steal it!" Surhoff immediately handcuffed Carl. "On the contrary, ma'am, we may not be in United States jurisdiction, but we won't let this petty thief take your gold." Airmed nodded and held up a taped-together magic book. "He used magic irresponsibly and got us banished here. We're just waiting for the spell to be ready again and we'll be leaving." "You took that book from me! Give it back! That's stealing!" Carl said. The dragon woman kneeled down and reached for a gold coin. Finally, after all these years, the curse had been lifted. Ow! The coin shocked her like a burn. "What's the matter?" She pointed her sword at them again. Airmed shrugged. "Terribly sorry. It appears my novice spell only extended to my party." "But you can learn," she said. Airmed checked the time using the internal clock within his circuitry mind. "I suppose I could, if I had the time, but we simply must be going." The dragon stroked her chin. "Oh, but you must stay. You've alerted the princess, my mortal enemy." The three of them looked in surprise before Surhoff spoke up. "Princess? Don't you eat her?" The dragon shook her head. "I was intended to be the sacrifice for her demonic powers, but I fought back, and we've been enemies for centuries." She had their full attention as she pointed to the spiral staircase. "We must slay her!" Arcane flew up towards the top of the staircase. As soon as he heard about the princess, he secretly slipped out from Airmed's body. His brother had a knack for trouble, and it was up to the older brother to protect him, even if he was a ghost, even if he didn't much like his programming. He arrived, finding a small room at the top with a white but dirty bedroom. He floated towards the room and hovered forward. His acute senses could feel something. "I know this setting. Cold and uninviting," he thought. "I haven't had visitors in a while," a voice said, "especially dead ones." Arcane turned around to see a blonde woman in a glowing white dress. It was so bright that the light nearly blinded him. She also had no face like a mannequin. He presumed this was the princess. If she has the magical skill to see me, she can banish me. I'm just scouting ahead, but I can pack a punch," he said. She laughed. "Making threats? You just met me." Arcane crossed his arms. "I know organic beings aren't to be trusted." "You're smart," she said. "Best to take you out early." She immediately held up her hand and blasted a ray of light at Arcane. He barrel rolled out of the way, but the light hit his shoulder. It burned him as he cried out. The beam was scathing hot. If it could burn him, it could burn anything. He flew forward in a dash and opened his mouth with a sonic scream. The sonic scream kept her at bay, pushing the princess back as she lifted both of her hands. A human using this spell would tire, but a robot, especially one that was a ghost, would never. Next, a light shone above him as he realized it was too late. The intense heat sent him falling onto the ground. His movement was slow. She stepped forward and bathed in the light. "Not a very troubling little ghost," she said. Arcane waited for her to step an inch closer as he reached out, grabbing her ankle. He crushed her with great force, breaking her concentration, thus freeing him. He flew upward, taking her with him, spun around, and threw her into the castle wall. The princess got up and cracked her neck, grunting, and then extended dozens of beams from her body. Each beam cut into a piece of Arcane as he forced himself into retreat. He tore a piece of the wooden pillar off the bed and covered his hand with it. "Rage to object," he said, as his hand glowed a bright red. The red energy transferred to the wood as its cracks sharpened and became more refined like a spear. He then took aim and threw it at blazing speeds. It avoided the light beams and slashed through the princess's side. She slumped down on the ground, holding her wound as Arcane floated towards her. She then jerked forward, grabbing his shoulders as they both glowed with white light. Arcane cried out in pain as he fell to the ground, his system shutting down. He was unsure what exactly would happen next, as he saw that Airmed and his humans had made it up the stairs, as he lost function. Rebooting. Airmed put his fists in a fighting position. "That's the princess? She sure is a creepy one. I wouldn't want to rescue her," Carl said. "Not that I'd rescue anyone. Much too busy stealing things." Surhoff took out his gun as the princess turned around. She focused on Airmed only. "So you can lift the curse," she said. The dragon then used her tail to knock the three of them on the ground. Surhoff dropped his gun, and Carl was grabbed with a sword held up to his neck. "No funny business, Metal Man," she said. Airmed stood up calmly. "Violence is not a very kind course of action," he said. The princess walked around Airmed, touching his shoulder. "You lied to us," Surhoff said. "I didn't lie. The truth was the princess and I were enemies, before we decided to team up. The gold we desired is cursed, and only he can break it," she said. "You'll find a way to break the spell," the princess said, "or your friend will die." Surhoff scanned the area. They certainly couldn't let Carl die, even if he was a criminal. But his gun was too far away. He'd have to trust Airmed. Airmed got into a meditative stance. "Very well, but I warn you, I am but a novice. There may be no in-between of light and extreme." "Just do it!" Airmed floated in the air as he shut off his eyes and began humming. Magic required his utmost concentration, let alone a spell of this power. Arcane woke up. He was glad he wasn't banished. He noticed the police officer's gun and reached forward, as everyone was distracted by Airmed's humming as he aimed. Bang! The dragon's sword flew into the air as the princess turned around to find Arcane standing up. Surhoff took the opportunity to tackle the dragon, as Carl decided to steal the sword. Airmed continued humming, having no idea what was going on, as the princess fired beams at Arcane, and he shouted another sonic scream. Everyone forgot about Airmed, and nobody could hear him as he spoke a single word. "Cleanse!" A massive shockwave of magic erupted from him. Clear ocean-like waves of spells encompassed them all. Unfortunately for the princess, she never accounted for one thing. A cleansing spell of such nature wouldn't just break the curse of the gold, but also wipe their evil hearts from existence. The dragon and the princess burned with an almost holy fire, as Airmed opened his eyes. Airmed, Surhoff, and Carl began blinking with light. "We'll be leaving now." Soon the castle fell completely empty and dead silent. All who had occupied no longer were there. Only two suspiciously humanoid piles of salt.